Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Welcome to this segment of Khoj Gurbani's a-sabad-a-day. The recitation is Manj Mahalla Panjwa. Anhad Vajai Sahaj Sohela, sabad anand kare sadkela. Sahaj guha mehtari lai, आसन ऊंच सवारया जियो. फिर घरे अपने गृह में आया, जो लोड़ींदा सोई पाया. तृप्त अघाए रहा है संतो, गोरे अनुभव पुरख दिखा रहा जियो. आपे राजन आपे लोगा, आप निर्वाणी आपे भोगा. आपे तख्त बहे सच न्यायी, सब चूकी कूक पुकारया जियो. जेहा डिठा मैं तेहो कहया, तिस रस आया, जिन भेद लहया. ज्योति जोत मिली सुख पाया, जन नानक एक पसारया जियो. So in this passage, the fifth Nanak, Guru Arjan, he's used terminology like Anhad, Sahaj, a-sabad in the very first section of this passage. Now, these are three exceedingly important concepts in Gurmat. And for those of you who are interested in a more detailed treatment of these concepts, please visit our glossary section at www.khojgurbani.org. Because we are time constrained here and can't really go into depth. But if you're interested, please go to the website. Now, all these three terms are common to various spiritual traditions in India, especially the Tantric and Buddhist traditions. So it becomes doubly important for us to understand their specific usage in the framework of Gurbani. As we deal with Gurbani, one of the things that we have to keep at the back of our minds is that a lot of the terminology is existing terminology, but the Gurus have redefined it, have invested these terms with meanings from a Gurmat perspective, and oftentimes we kind of make the mistake or inadvertently misunderstand what is being said when the same terms are being used by various traditions. So Anhad, for instance, is spelled variously as Anhat, literally means limitless. It refers to sound that arises without friction. Now, this is not how ordinarily sound arises, you see, because two things have to create friction or bang together to create sound. We know that. That is how it is ordinarily in our daily lives. But this is speaking of, obviously, a non-physical sound, if that is even possible to our way of looking at things, or perhaps vibrating at a frequency that eludes our senses. But that's the point being made, that it is not something that the ordinary senses can grasp. Now in Gurmat, this sound is also called sabad, which is the creative principle, the life current that runs through everything in the universe. In other words, sabad is the dynamic expression of Ik Oankar. It is the creator. And so Guru Arjan here is really talking about the experience or the state of mind where this creator is experienced in its fullest glory as Shabad. So let's try and see if we can actually put together what he is speaking about. The first thing that we see is that the creator is being experienced spontaneously, sahaj, as sound and vibration. What does that mean? It seems to me that what Guru Arjan is saying is that existence or creation is really the result of movement, motion, because we know that existence is not possible without motion, and that everything seems to be emanating from Shabad. Now, If you recall from the previous Shabad, the passage that we did prior to this one, we noticed that the central theme there was that there is only one doer, Karta, that has set existence in motion. And in this passage, that point is being taken further. Now, we've already recognized that Ik Oankar is the center of all existence. The one, Ik, is that aspect of Ik Oankar that is at rest, without motion, undifferentiated, silent, and pure. Unity. Oankar is the dynamic expression. So the act of creation is in fact an act of speech, of Shabad. So Ik Oankar speaks creation into existence, as it were. You remember the expression, the Pankti from Gurbani, Kita pasao eko kavao. Kavao again is to say something, speech. So one can think of the Creator actually speaking creation into existence. And so Shabad then can be thought of as being the voice of Ik Oankar, also the primal word, the first word, if you will, from which all motion is derived and by which existence at all planes is sustained. That, it seems to me, is what Guru Arjan is trying to tell us, that all creation stems from this primal Shabad and continues to be sustained by this endless impulse that we call Shabad. And then, this experience, he tells us, is accessible to a mind that is steady and not vacillating. Sahaj gufa mein tari lai asan uch a-sabad-a-day. Again, we have to be careful. Terminology like Sahaj gufa, tari, asan are tantric and yogic in origin. And so Guru Arjan's usage has a specific reason. One, to redefine. Two, to actually clarify and to even address the yogis and the siddhas that as to what the Gurmat perspective is or what the right perspective is. So unlike the tantrics, the tantrics and the yogis practiced physical postures which were called asanas. And they induced in themselves trance-like states. Mind-altering substances were consumed, tari, in order to experience these mind-altering states. And they spoke about Sahaj as being that state. But Gurmat here is talking in terms of asan being the state of mind, not a physical posture. And tari being not a special drink that induces mind-altering consciousness, but Shabad. So we find that Guru Arjan speaks about fulfillment also, and the importance of the Guru principle in the second section. That supreme experience cannot be had without linking to the enlightener. Tripat agai rea hai santo. He's telling the seekers, Santo, gur anubhav purkh dikharya jiyo. Anubhav, the experience of the purkh, that pervading consciousness, dikharya jiyo, was given to me. That experience was given to me, or that experience was made possible, O Santo, seekers, by the Gur, the enlightener. And then here again, we must make a distinction between what the Gur is in terms of tantric, yogic philosophies and how Guru Arjan is using the word, or how Gurmat, for that matter, uses the word. Now we have to touch a little bit on the history here of the yogic panths. We know that the yogis had established many orders, and we know of a dozen or so prominent ones like the I-Panthi, which finds mention in Gurmat multiple times. And these were monastic orders, usually headed by an individual. And it was this individual who over time came to be treated as the guru, as God itself. So, just as a reminder, if you remember, the Siddhas in fact questioned Guru Nanak as to who his guru was. So what they were really asking him at that time was what his lineage was. To which particular guru was he tracing his lineage to? Except that Guru Nanak's answer, he just ignored the question of lineage and very beautifully just told them that Shabad was his guru. And Surat was the disciple, Chela. So he referred to Guru as the innate principle of knowledge. So Ik Oankar, as we know from the Mool Mantra, is the primal Guru. It is also the Gur and the Prasad. So that distinction is extremely important. And then the third section of this passage is really a reiteration of what was already said in the previous passage. Ape Rajan, Ape Loga, Jai Dittha Metteho Kahya. So Ape Rajan, Ape Loga, in other words, one actor playing different roles. This is something really to try and wrap your head around. And yet Guru Arjan gives a personal testimony. Jeha Dittha, as I saw, met Dehokaya, I am stating what I have actually experienced. This ras aya jin pe the leha. And again, he emphasized further that this is ras, essence or taste or flavor or experience. Tin aya, this aya, kinvanwaya, those who have actually taken the trouble to immerse themselves in this mystery that we call existence. So you just can't sit around and expect to get a taste of this experience. You have to really make the effort. And then in the end, of course, that insight that he is sharing with us. What is that insight? Again, very simple. Jyoti Jyot Mili Sukha Paya. So the blending of light, which means self-knowledge. When self-knowledge happens, then Sukha Paya, meaning you are at ease, you understand, there's fulfillment, there is no agitation of the mind. And then, of course, the insight that you get from that is Jana Nanak Ik Pasaraya Jiyo. There is only one that is all pervasive. This is really the insight of Gurmat. To be able to see that one pervasive consciousness manifesting itself in diversity. Difficult, but not impossible. With those thoughts, until the next time, Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.